Hola familia, it's Alex. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. As you guys can see for the title, we're doing another pan of eyeshadows update. I love doing these project pans and I'm changing it up just a little bit just to keep it fresh for you guys. I am kind of changing how I'm going to pick my palettes, but it's not going to be a cheating way. It's going to be a fun way, so I'll let you guys know when we get to that point of the video. But obviously you're here to see my update on my 5 shadows. So I have them here today for you guys. But first, if you're new to my channel, welcome to the familia. My name is Alejandra. I'm an eyeshadow enthusiast with a dash project pan. That is something that interests you. Subscribe. Join us. And now let's get on with the updates. Alrighty, you guys, so we're gonna be doing an update on the 5 shadows that I have here. Obviously, that's what I said in the beginning, and that's what you see from the title. Alright, so let's start out with Kat Von D Iggy. So this was rolled in last month. This is the first month that it has been in here. I love this shade, actually, and I've only had this in one other project pan, which was the 12 pans of Christmas, and we rolled it in, you guys, and obviously it was basically brand new. I did show you guys last month's where it looked like a little bit used but not too much, and as you can see it now, you can kind of see where I've been putting my brush. Like, it's not bad. You could tell that I've used this, but not necessarily a ton. And that's okay because I wasn't expecting a lot of usage out of this. This is a lot of product in here, but I'm happy to say that at least it looks used, which is happy. This eyeshadow look, I do have it on my lower lash line and a little bit on my outer V, but I do have some other palette on my eyes testing it out in the sun, which is not a bad job actually. It's doing pretty darn good. So anyway, I've only used this 4 times. 4 times. I normally use it as a lash, like a liner or a lower lash line, and a little bit on the outer V today, but not necessarily too much. You guys can see there. I have 16 more uses or pan. Guarantee you it'll probably be the 16 uses. This is a lot of fun. I love pairing it with pinks. I love pairing greens with blues. I like pairing greens with like a peachy shade. It's really pretty for the summer, or a yellow. I know you're not supposed to put yellow and green, but I can care less. You know what I mean? Like, I like to do fun, bright shades, especially with a green like this. This is not such a deep fall-esque green. It's more like a summer green, so I'm digging it. I'm not mad at it. I'm enjoying it, even though I've only used it 4 times because other shadows have been coming up front, but I know I will get a lot of use out of it in the next month. So let's move on to the next one. This is the Lime Crime Venus XL2 palette. Again, this was rolled in last month. The shade that I rolled in was Radiant, completely brand new. This palette was never touched, you guys. That's the story of my life. I have so many palettes that the majority have not been touched that much, but that's okay because I'm happy to have such a variety. Don't judge me. So now, as you guys can see it, you can actually see that I have quite a bit of usage on it right over here. This eyeshadow I have been using as an inner corner highlight, and I do have it on today as an inner corner highlight almost every single day, with the exception if I am specifically testing out a palette and I need to use all of the shadows in its capacity. I don't reach for this, but it's been a lot. I've actually reached for this 12 times. So 12 times I've reached for it. I have a little dip going on in here. I know this is very reflective. I'm so sorry, but it's an interesting shade. It's a sheer shade. When it is in its full impact, it looks white gold on the inner corner, but if you do sheer it out, it has like a red tinge to it. It's this gold with red on it. It's a very interesting shade, and I have used it on as a topper. My only downfall for this shade, if this shade wasn't the formula that it's in, I think I would use it a lot more over the lid and mixing it with bases, because I feel like this could have potential. But when you actually feel this shade, it's like silk, so not much comes off on your finger. You have to use a brush with it, and if you use a brush too hard, it becomes crumbly. So it's a weird formula. It feels like silk. When you touch it, you don't get a lot of product picking it up, but with a brush you do, but it becomes crumbly. So that's why I've only been using it as an inner corner highlight. So I have about 8 more times to use it, and I'll be able to roll it out. I think it'll just be the 8 times I'll use it, and you won't probably see pan. You'll probably see a nice dip, because from what I've seen on my Project Pan Instagram, that all the individuals that I follow, somebody is panning this one, and the pans are deep in here. They are deep. And I gotta tell you, I've been having a lot of fun with this palette overall. I've done quite a bit of looks with it, and this formula is really nice. Like, I was not expecting it to be this nice. It is nice. I'm digging it. All right, up next is the Juvia's Place Zulu palette. This is the second month that it has been in here. I have used this a lot of times. I have you could see that I was using it a lot in last month. You could see that there has been a lot of usage. And if you see it now, you could tell that I still got usage out of it, but it doesn't look like much, you guys. I've used this 20 times. Towards the end, I've used it more as a blush hybrid, more of like a blush mixer to add a little bit of more depth into my blushes, my corally blushes. This sucker I knew was not going to look used and abused. This thing is so pigmented. If you guys saw how tips and tricks on how to pan eyeshadows, I use this as an example, and look at it. You guys saw how much I swatched that shadow, and it looks like I barely touched it. In person, you can see that it is used, but it don't look like I've beaten it up 20 times, to be honest with you. I feel like this palette's gonna last me a lifetime because they're so pigmented and you don't need a lot to get a look out of it. So at least I got 20 uses out of it, and I was able to play around with the rest of the shadows in here because this was one of my first bright rainbow palettes that I owned. This was one of the first ones I ever owned like this. There is one prior to this. It's a lot older, but I mean, like with indie brands and stuff, this was my first one. So at least I got it in this project pan. I got more use out of it, and I'm happy with that. So this is going to be rolled out. The other palette that has been here for 2 months, it has been the Viseart Cashmere Theory palette. When I rolled this in, it was brand new. Then last month, you saw some usage out of it, and you saw that I was getting a little bit of a center in there, getting in there, because I was mainly using this as an inner corner highlight, as a mixer shade. I would use it sometimes alone with cream bases on it. And as you can see it now, you could see that dip. I used it 20 times, but I did not hit pan on it. I don't know how you guys hit pan on some of these, but I didn't get a chance to hit pan on it, but I'm happy to say that this palette doesn't look brand new anymore. This palette actually looks like it got used, and that shadow just looks like it's a lot more love. You can see that it is used. I'm very happy. This makes me happy. I have gotten to a point in my panning journey, and I've mentioned this in multiple videos, that I am happy if I see my makeup look used. If I were to open this up to share this with a family or a friend or somebody who's enthusiast with makeup, and they see this, they could take my word for it, saying, yeah, you're right, Alex. You could tell that you like this palette. Look how used it looks. I'll still make my goal to hit pan if I possibly can, but used and abused is more my motto these days, and I'm happy with that. And that's my whole entire makeup collection. If I finish something up, amazing. If I don't, amazing as well, because it is some sort of progress that I'm doing, and that's how I feel about this one. So I didn't hit pan on it, but it is used. I've had this for so long, and it was brand new, so I'm happy. And I have verified that how much I love the Viseart matte formula. I just love it. I absolutely adore it. The last eyeshadow palette that I had in here was the Coastal Scents Fall Festival palette, and I'm sure you guys are probably thinking, yep, Alex, did you hear the news? Yes, I did hear the news of Coastal Scents shutting down, which breaks my heart. So let's get into the progress before I get into that. Last month, you saw that I only used this about 3 times, I would say. The eyeshadow, I needed to get into the mood for it, and now that the warmer weather had come, I'm like, yes, now is my chance to be able to use it and abuse it. And now, as you guys can see, I have definitely hit pan on this beauty. Oh, let me not blind you with the mirror. This is gorgeous. I love this shadow. I think it worked perfectly fine. I am panning a Mally shadow stick that is like a topaz shade that worked perfectly well with this one. Mixing it, I love this shade. This shade was really, really pretty. I used this in total 12 times to hit pan. It is a shimmer formula, so it's a lot softer, and I told you guys that I could see myself hitting pan because even the 3-4 uses of it, I saw some sort of depth and movement in the shadow, so I knew I was going to hit pan on it. Now, surprise, surprise, I do want to mention that I've also hit a bonus pan in here. I was using this to set my eyeshadow throughout the month, and I was able to hit pan on that shade as well. So not only did I get to hit pan on this shadow, I had a bonus pan this month, which is very rare for me, but I'm trying to encourage myself to use more of the palettes that I'm pulling out instead of just concentrating on the one if I could do another one, I would hit pan on it. So I'm happy to say, not only did I get one pan, I have hit 2 pans in this palette. So now this palette is actually one of my first palettes I ever bought. This one and the original Coastal Scents one, the 12 pan one, they're my oldest. These are my oldest, and they still work perfectly fine. It does break my heart to see Coastal Scents go out of business or shut down completely, whatever it is that they had to do, because honestly, Coastal Scents was the very first brand where I gravitated towards when it came to colorful eyeshadows. Back in 2011, 2012, colorful eyeshadow palettes did not really exist. You got singles and you had to put it together yourself. And this was a lot of color back in the day too. Like, this was a lot of color. My very, very first colorful eyeshadow palette, period, end of story, that had bright shades that kind of looked like a rainbow palette, but it was a lot more deeper, sultry with brighter shades, was the Coastal Scents Neons, I believe. I forget what it was called, but I still have it, and I showcased it a few years ago on my channel when I first started to dabble into indie brands again. That was one of the palettes that I had that was the most colorful, and I still have it till this day. So Coastal Scents holds a near and dear place in my heart because they were the first brand I really bought from that were inexpensive. I could play around with color and didn't have to really like spend an arm and a leg. And two, they were my first brand where I got a colorful palette from. So it breaks my heart, but I'm happy to say that I'm getting use out of them. I have all of these, and even when these do go bad, this is a magnetic palette that I could pop out and have a mirror so I could pop singles in here, and I still kind of have their logo and remind myself of where I started to where I am now with my eyeshadow formula, love, obsession, whatever you want to call it. All right, you guys, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, I'm going to share with you guys all the color stories that we've had for the last few months. And since we have made goals on 3 palettes, we're going to roll in 3 new palettes. All right, you guys, so I was kind of getting bored with random and going through my spreadsheet of my eyeshadow palettes in general. So what I decided to do, I exported all the eyeshadow palettes that I was using in this project pan into my app that I forgot to mention to you guys when I did a video of all the apps that you can use for project panning. One of them that I forgot to share with you guys was Tiny Decisions. Tiny Decisions is a wheel. It's a random wheel, but I feel like this is a lot more fun because I feel like I have a little bit of control over it because I can hit the circle as many times as I want and it keeps spinning until I let it go kind of thing, instead of it just randomizing a number, which I feel like it sticks to a certain area of my spreadsheet. So what we're going to do today is we're going to randomize our 3 eyeshadow palettes out of here, and you guys can see it live without me having to look at the number, look at my spreadsheet, and tell you guys. You can clearly see it with your own eyeballs what I'm getting, like we're playing Wheel of Fortune. So you guys ready? All right, so this is what the app looks like, and I'll put it on the screen because I know I'm gonna get a lot of questions like, oh, what was that app, Alex, again? So I am going to share that with you guys. I just wanted to brighten it up a little bit for you guys so you guys can see. So here we go. Ooh, the Flower Beauty Jungle Lights palette. So I'm going to screenshot it because I can't save them. So this is the first palette we're going to be working on, you guys. Oh my gosh. Okay. See, I don't feel like that would have came up if I did it the other way. So this is actually fun. And I didn't have to type in all of my stuff. I just copied and pasted it in here and imported the clip art. So the clipboard. So that makes me excited that I have to do that. Holy crap. Menagerie Flight Club. Oh, that's a new palette. Oh, a lot of purple eyeshadow this month. All right, last one. What do we got? Oh, Oh, see, I don't think this would have came up either. See, I'm loving this app a lot more for my randomization, unless I have to. Okay, I'll use the Pretty Random for the numbering, but for this, I'm going to use this from now on. So I'm going to get the Menagerie, the Flower Beauty, and the Kat Von D Shade and Light Glimmer palette. This was the last palette I bought from Kat Von D and reviewed before the fallout happened, and I just stopped buying from her because of all the mess, and that's where cancel culture started. So anyway, I am gonna go pull these out, and then we're gonna see what shades we're gonna be using this month. Woo! Okay, so I have the Flower Beauty Jungle Lights palette here. Oh, I just realized that the names of the shadows are in the back. Okay, Alex. All right, so here they are. You guys know I will go across. So I'm going to use the original app that I normally would have used to pull out palettes. So now this will be easy because we could actually see. What the? Okay, here we go. Oh my gosh. So number one is called Amazon. I just realized that Amazon, Anaconda, Tiger Lily, Paradise, Jaguar, and Wild. Go figure. So I got Amazon. I'm going to take my Watcho off so then I can show you guys. Oh, but you know what, guys? I am all for this. I am all for this. I'm not mad. This excites me. This really does excite me because, yep, I definitely going to use that. All right, so the next palette was the Flight Club, which I have a review and everything of as well. This has 12 shades. So let me put it in here. 12. And let's shake that. Number 3. Oh, okay. Sky Puppy, which is this shade right over here. We got a matte. I have a feeling I will not hit pan on these two. I don't know. Menagerie Cosmetics I've never panned and never had Menagerie Cosmetics in this project pan, but knowing how their formula is, it's so pigmented, but look how beautiful those two together are. I'm just saying, this must be like my month or something. Like, this project pan must know that this is my birthday month because these two shades are awesome. The last palette that we had is the Kat Von D Shade and Light Glimmer Eye. And if you have no clue what this looks like, it's kind of like the Shade and Light, but it has glitter in them. Like some shadows have glitter. So how am I going to do this? I'm probably going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so on and so forth. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 shades in here. Okay. So we already have 12 in there. So let's see. 11. The funny thing is, you guys, I said in my brain, I hope I get one of the last 2 shades. Sure enough, I ended up getting this shade right here, which if I'm looking at it correctly, I think it's called Jasper. This is a bronzy with a glitter to it. What? I am not upset. So these are our 3 new shades. Let me swatch the last 2, the ones that are still in here, so you guys can see them all together. So here are our 5 shades. Here is Amazon from the Flower Beauty palette, Sky Puppy from Menagerie Flight Club, this one in Jasper from the Kat Von D Shade and Light Glimmer palette, Kat Von D Iggy. I just realized these 2 are from Kat Von D. And then this is Radiant from Lime Crime Venus 2XL palette. Oh my goodness, you guys. This is awesome. I got 2 colorful shades and then 3 neutrals, which I am not upset about. Kind of looks like what I'm wearing on my eyes today. So you guys can see like an idea of what it is that I would do for this month. All right, so let's do some predictions. So what I think I'm gonna do. I think that this is gonna get rolled out next month because I probably will use it the 8 more times and be done and over with it. This is gonna be my up front and center shade because this is the 2nd month that it's in. So I got a long way to go with this, but I don't see myself having an issue now that I have these to work around. Like I could use this green with the gold, this one with that one, like these 2 together. I don't see myself having an issue with pairing this with my Pan Those eyeshadows. And then I already have some palettes in mind that I'm using along with these that I think this will work well with. So I have a feeling these 2 will be rolled out next month. I don't see myself having an issue with that. With the last 3, Menagerie is going to be hard because they're pigmented, very, very pigmented. And I have yet to see anybody really pan a Menagerie Cosmetics palette because they're just so pigmented, and I'm sure they're very deep as well. So I think this will just be 20 uses, honestly. So I don't see myself really digging into this one too much. And the other thing is, I already ranked this year, so I don't think I'm going to rank this one again. I don't know. What do you guys think? I already ranked this in the beginning of the year in my ranking every 2 months. And I already put this in the ranking. Should I do it again or just exclude it since I already ranked it? I don't know because it's new to my collection. This one, I think I might be able to hit pan depending on the depth of the shadow. It's very, very pigmented, but because of the formula and its crumbliness, I feel like I might be able to hit pan. It's just, I gotta see how deep those pans are. I haven't seen anybody hit pan on those either. And then the last one, this is gonna be tough. This one's gonna be tough because I have a feeling that this one is deep pans. Those that have pan the Shade and Light palette, the matte one that I also own as well, I've seen they struggle with it because it's very deep. But the only upside I have with it is because this is the Glimmer palette. Basically, almost all of these have some sort of sheen or glitter to them. So this one is not a matte, but they're still deep. So I don't know. And I'm very happy to be able to pull this out to play with it again because I've been neglecting these palettes and I'm to the point where I don't give a hoot what anybody says about what I have. I'm going to use what I have and move on with my life. I'm going to use this one and have fun with it. And I'm liking that bronzy color. I think that's gorgeous. So these are my palettes, you guys. This is my color story. I'm very, very excited. I think Tiny Decisions is definitely a good decision that I made this month to refresh it, to switch it up, to make it a little bit more fun. I always like to mix my project pans somehow here and there because I can't do the same repetitiveness over and over and over. That's always been my personality. I'm all for change. I'm 100%. I don't mind. And I think that change from me switching from pretty random to Tiny Decisions just made this a lot more fun because these I really don't think that these palettes would have came out if I used the other way, the numbering. I think this was a lot more fun. So that is it, you guys. That's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys had a wonderful, wonderful day, night, evening, whatever it is for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching and always supporting me. I will put more videos over here on the screen for your enjoyment. Until then, adios.